a woman and you would have trained a nation, it may be a popular cliche, but then if it's not done that way, then that particular nation would definitely be heading up for doom, because women remain the cornerstone, the pivot for every nation that wants to grow, every nation that wants to be developed. Now, when we talk about that, we begin to pay tribute to people who are actually paying beyond lip service to education. And today in my studio, the Prime Studio, we have a very prime personality. A prime personality in the sense that she is not just female, but she has this burning passion for education. So much so that she retired in a very comfortable environment to start a school that is gaining grounds not just for Nigeria but Africa. Who is my guest? Find out after this time out. Now you have taken a bit of a peep into my guest profile for today. Join me as I welcome Dr. Samira Jibril. You want me to say Samira Jibril, PhD. I want to put the doctor in front.
Thank you so much.
To study until you become a doctor,
yes.
It's not like our people will say, moi moi.
It is not really.
I see the passion
yes,
with which you answered. And I'm like, why did you bother to go the whole hog?
I am always learning every day, every second of my life. So I give it a go every time.
Is that the reason why you went into education? What took you there?
For me, education wasn't my choice. You know, in our days, your parents will ask you to do this or that, and you have to go with it. And at that time, my parents feel my guidance because I was orphaned at the age of 2. My mother died at the age of 2, my father at the age of 6. And they just felt that I'll be more comfortable being a woman teaching. Behold, I was very tiny at that time, and they don't accept people like us in teacher training colleges. But I have to go because that's the only way that will make me to go to school. And behold, that's why I find myself. And all my life I did teacher training in Zonkoa, at ATC, College of Education, that is now College of Education, Mina, B.Ed in Zaria, Kano campus. I did masters in education. I did another master's in public admin, and I had the PhD. So it's been all working with children and impacting lives. So it's a beautiful thing, a beautiful journey with beautiful people.
How do you feel when after a long time you meet somebody who is well, established, doing something, good, and the person walks up to you and say, Mommy, you taught me in primary school, you taught me in secondary school. How does that make you feel?
It has actually happened several times. My next door neighbor was actually my student in the secondary school.
Wow.
And she's a director in FCT. And of recent, when we came back from US, 2 of them, my ex-students from this school, one is working with tech company in Dallas, another one in Toronto. It just makes you feel...
And they walk up to you and say...
Yes, makes you fulfilled.
And then he says, I'm your student.
Or even on the way, in the airport, on the plane from Turkey to Nigeria again, I met another one. It's just a fulfilling moments all through my life. So...
when you started, before you started this Gliston school, I know you were with the FCT.
Yes.
And prior to that, you were already with the Women Affairs.
Yes, I was in Women Affairs.
And it still tells me the passion you have for women and children. It keeps running. Now, I would like to know, for somebody who was already, almost at the apex of your career, how did you, like we will say, have the liver You know, what propelled you to pull out? Were you not scared to come and start a school?
That's always the thing. If you believe that life is risk itself, the next step you are taking is risky. You don't know. So why not throw it and give it a shot? And if you have that one and only creator whose grace is sufficient, it is always a beautiful thing to try. And we must all not sit in our comfort zones and feel that that is all. We must give it a try, give it the shot. There will be curveballs, but you surmount them.
Okay, those tough boards you met, you want to share some of them with us? What was the challenge trying to get established? Because I know it wasn't that easy.
Yes, trying to establish. While I was in FCT, I rose to the level of a deputy director. But before then, I was working, and sometimes I just felt that I'm not getting that fulfillment. There's something, there is an hunger in me and thirst that I must go out to see. So before I voluntarily retired, I started writing my proposal about starting a school. I already had this plot, of course. I don't know accounts, but I know money. I don't know 1 plus 1, but I know 1 naira plus 1
Don't
naira
worry,
is something.
you're my senior colleague.
Yes. So I called some young guys. That's another thing. We need to leverage on the youth around us. By leveraging on their knowledge, you are helping them to develop. You are helping them to build themselves. So today, if I have 5,000, I give them, they were writing their accounting side. So I'll just brace up and go to the bank and talk to the bank manager. If anybody does not answer me, I'll carry my proposal, get annoyed and go away until I struck one that was necessary. I must say along the line, you know, with banks, all what we have done building this organization is with bank loans, commercial bank for that matter. I must say that at the time I was to start, you have to have equity. And this thing, going with the banks, has really taught me a lot about getting your papers, your documentation, your everything right. If it is right, and your accounting, your cost analysis, your income, your expenses, your loss and everything, if you get it and you have your document, we don't work with data in this country. We want to do the shortcut. But when you get it and you get it right, it's a lot smooth. And you can defend it, just like when you are defending the PhD. It's not that even when they write it for you, you must defend it. I went through that and I defended my thesis. And that makes me very proud of myself and my achievement. And by the time I was able to do that, I needed 8 million equity contribution. Where will I get the 8 million to do that? Behold, our first son, Abba, was to get married. And we've already gotten a place. You know, the outside culture, if you don't have a place, they're not going to give you wife from the other side. So that's the first thing.
Are we going to sleep under the tree?
My dear. So I called my son. Please, you have 3 bedrooms. You know, that time, all these estates were coming up and they were relatively cheap. So we are buying little by little. I said, you have 3 bedrooms to start a life. This is our dream. This is my dream. What do you feel? How do you think? He said, I'll go with you, mommy. We'll sell the house. We'll start in a boys' quarters. And behold, how will we tell daddy? We started praying. Our lips were shaking and everything. And he said, my son read engineering. What is he going to do with school? I said, yes. But eventually God prevailed. And that was how we started. In a small place in Jabi. We're still there. The primary school is still there, number 6, Amisis Musa Street. But after 2 years, we started with 18. By the end of the year, we are up to 235. We have to move to life camp. And by the time, you see, whatever you're doing, when you have the passion, put standard, put quality, be intentional, anything you're doing, and don't copy anybody. Nobody is your competition. You are your competition. And behold, I will go around this area, this Jai. Have they started anything? There was no road. And even the before Uncle Wike give us this beautiful road here.
Beautiful road.
The other road to next was not there then. You have to trek, we have to cross the river, we put stones and everything. And behold, we started. I started again, like I did the other time, going to banks. The same old story. And you know, banks, they don't want soup. Now, the one we don't done well. But a woman came to my rescue. That is Abbey, the MD of Abbey Mortgage Bank.
And it was a lady.
She's a lady.
Oh, that's lovely,
she's a lady.
And that's why I say, a lot of times they say women don't help women.
They do.
You know?
You see, the fact is that most of the time we want to get things done without going the right way. No shortcut. You have to have your... There is no way she should have given... And she had Canadian consultants who came on board, saw the place, and saw the passion. And I was not hungry that I must get it at all costs. If I see that you are giving me a loan that I cannot pay, I'd rather not take it. But don't bring religion. Don't bring tribe. Don't bring no walls around you. The walls you're trying to be must be excellent walls. Walls of progress. So when I started, I met Mr. Charles, we call him Igwe now. 19 years. The people we started this institution with, their pioneer staff are still standing.
They're still with you?
Yes. Only a few that have either married or so. And those that came 6 years after.
Mr. Igwe is...
Mr. Charles.
Mr. Charles.
I don't know where he was from them. It's of recent that I'm knowing that he's from Enugu. Mrs. Priska Godwill, she's an Igbo lady. I care about the human being. I have 3 pastors in this establishment. Pastor James, Pastor Jonathan, Pastor Femi, who are all pastors in their rights.
If Nigerians can remove sentiments, I mean, you are employing pastors and you're Muslim, you know, and you've been working well with them. Mr. Charles is an Enugu man, he's Igbo, he's Christian, and he's been working with you who is non-Igbo, non-Christian. And I know when I walked in here, you say he's your right-hand man.
Yes, yes, of course. And we have a retention of staff over 11, 12, and so many years ago. Again, we train our staff. There's one thing is, the teachers or whoever you're working with cannot give what they don't have. So you have to do the trainings. Don't think that is that easy on them. I'm firecracker. And my firecracker is to push them to be their best. And that gives me the comfort. Sometimes they say, Mama, don't come. They will look at the mood, but they know. And you cannot come.
You even know they look at your mood.
Of course. I even have a stand. When the mood is something, I put it in front of my desk. Don't come
Oh, okay.
Yes, yes. So
okay, you have a stand to show your mood.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Most of us are afraid to train people. Don't forget, I tell them, use the training you've got here in your churches, in your mosques, in your community. We are building a bigger life, a bigger community, a global one. For the children, the same thing. You will not know who is a Muslim, who is a Christian, who is international, or whoever. For the parents, again, that's another beautiful thing. It's a community that we have built. Community, we call ourselves the Gliston family. Again, most of our members of staff met here, they've married here, they've had their children here, and they are still standing. That is the joy. For the parents, the PTF, we call our own parents teachers from, and they have been able to work with us because we have what we call the pact, partnering and caring together. And that's the beautiful thing about it. And even when we have opportunity to represent the country outside, like the US, the Dallas in robotics that we've done 3 years consecutively, the parents back us up. Even those that their children are not going, are not among those participating, they look for sponsors, they support one way or the other.
You know, you talked about this, your appearance in Dallas, and I remember that's actually how I got interested in you. I'm like, where is this school? Is it in Nigeria? What is the brain behind it? And luckily for me, it's a woman. Let's share your insights on the Rex Robotic competition, which your school has been championing, not just for Nigeria, but for Africa for the past 3 years. What gave birth to it?
Well, you see, when you're focused, when you have vision, and you look at your vision not as a myopic thing, you look at it as the big thing in a global world. That is where it came from. By the time we have, and I'm so blessed, like I told you, I'm not technologically inclined, but I bet you they can't try me. I'm an indigene. I'm not an indigene of digital, but they can't try me because I have to learn. If you can't learn, they will always be beating you. And good thing, Engineer Abba, that is the executive director, my son, drives that. That is his passion. And that is how we started. And because we are visionary, we have seen that technology, we don't use technology, we live technology. Everything here around us, technology. If we cannot raise these children, bring them up to be able to be equipped to face that world, then we are not it. I recall we're the first school in 2008 to key into the CPMC, one tablet per child during Obasanjo's regime. And we had to borrow money from the bank for us to do that. Some of the parents up to today did not pay. The moment it spoiled, they said they didn't send us. But we kept on. And before we kept on trying the technology for children to use, we know there is always adverse effect in everything. Even in this education we are talking about, everything has its pros and cons. But when you make sure that the pros are more, you achieve better. And by the time we look at it, we discover that time is coming when the children will need to do this. And we were quick to know that we need to be digitalized. So we decided before COVID to buy devices for all our students. Without the parents' contribution, we spent almost 28 million. It was launched here. And behold, by the time COVID struck, we were learning.
Very useful, yes.
It was that time that our children innovated MyRobot. A humanoid robot is on CNN, Al Jazeera, and BBC, and some other platforms. Even NTA carried it. And this robot is to mitigate the effect of that type of disease between the carers and the people that have contacted such diseases. It was a beautiful thing. We are still planning to see how we can market it. We are running it to entrepreneurship so that it could be marketable. We have so many other projects. And that is why we said we need to key into robotics. And part of robotics, in AI, engineering, machine learning, drone, everything about us is that. We've been able to represent Nigeria. Even during COVID, we had the Sportsmanship Award. The next year, we did not have any award. We were not deterred. The next year, we had another Workmanship Award. And this year, we had the Inspired Award in the technology category, meaning it was an intense thing that gives us that award. We are happy that we are making impact. Most of our children, our ex-students, our key result areas are the fact that most of these children are working in technology. We have somebody working in Apple.
Oh, you have your ex-students working in Apple. Wow.
We have another one that have designed the tour, the virtual tour of the school. We have others that have done hackathon and so many others, just like you asked. That's where we are blessed.
I know that, yes, you are at the top, seat of the private school practitioners here in both Abuja and nationally. And a little question I've always had people, in fact, I was talking to a little child, I said, did you do civic education in school? He said, civic education, what is that? No, we don't do that. We follow British curriculum. The other one said, we follow American curriculum. And I'm going like, we are in Nigeria. Do we not have our own curriculum, especially if our history or civic education will empower our children to do better? My question now is, how do the private school owners, as the proprietors or proprietresses, arrange to have their own different curriculum aside from what the federal government says?
You see, I think it's laughable. And why I said it's laughable is they want to sell their school. And it's laughable because the parents that take their children to such schools are not well informed or they don't make their research. We operate the Nigerian curriculum. And there is no curriculum that is isolated, an integrated curriculum. For us here, when you go to the farm, it's a Nigerian curriculum. But when you are doing agriculture, we don't believe that you need to do agriculture in the classroom. You go to the farm. We have fishery, we have poultry, we have rabbitry, we have farms, we have sugarcane plantation, we have so many things. So you have to work there. We have the highest number of what they call trade skills. When you are doing your brake lane or whatever it is, you have to work. So initially, the children will say, I'm not a laborer, I don't want that. I say, it's not about being a laborer. When you come to build your house, if you don't know these things, you'll be cheated out. But if you have the reins of it, you are good to go.
Back then we used to do a lot of, technical things and craft things in school. And I was told that these days it's all different. Do children still get to do handicraft in school?
No,
because I learned a whole lot from there.
Yes, we do. We have, in the primary school, we have what we call hands-on. And even with the robots, you see, the children of nowadays even need that because they are actually wired differently. Too energetic, too move, you understand. So you need to engage them. It is what they need. As you see me so, make I talk am, no be only education. I am a serial entrepreneur. There are so many things I've done to make it work. And when you have big business, sometimes it's not those big business that feed themselves. It's those little ones that oil what we are doing to success.
I totally believe because back in the day when our grandparents were teaching us about farming and yam, the big yams came and they put in the barn and get to sell them later. But there was these tiny ones. They were the supportive yam. They boil it for us to eat. And it was sweet.
Yeah.
But they were there to guard the big ones, which will actually go to the market for sales. All right, thank you so much. But before I take leave, I know that you've made a comment about Abba, the engineer Abba, who I know is your first son. I know you have other people that you have and your family entirely. I'd like to know, do you still manage, but do you still have ability to differentiate your biological and your non-biological, because your family needs to be sustained and taken care of?
My family is sustained, and I've built my family within a bigger family. They are brothers and sisters to all the people that work here. They dare not disrespect them. They must, my driver, who is younger than Abba, they call him Malang Hassan, not Hassan. So we build that family relationship that they have to learn to even care for the bigger family, and as the bigger family too cares for them. It's a beautiful journey, and I will not regret it, and I've not regretted it.
You will not.
Thank you so
much. When you're resting, when you're not working and doing every, I also know that you're into entrepreneurship. When you're not trying to do entrepreneurship,
to look for money. I get you.
What do you do to relax?
Most of the time, I still have a daughter, my last daughter, who is a medical doctor. He has graduated. She's at home, going for her NYC now, and my grandchildren. I try, when they are watching whatever is their interest, is part of my interest. That's whether it's cartoon, whether it's anything. I try to go into their lives. You see, I go into their lives feeling very cool, but not meddling. And for me, relaxation is, I read a lot. I read earth things. And I sleep and I read my Quran. In those days, it is music. But these days, it is the Quran.
Oh, okay,
as we
nice.
age.
Those days you were listening to music.
The oldies,
The
you know it,
oldies. Which one do
yes.
you remember?
Don't go there. So many.
I'll be surprised. Mama will just bust out with one thing now.
You know, if it is
Maybe
dancing, I have the
one
dancing.
love. Let's be
Get
together
together
and
and
we
we
are
know.
right. I don't even know how to sing it.
I don't do, but the rhythm and the theme are always there
Yeah, it's
in your
always there.
head.
It's
Yes.
beautiful having you on the show, and a lot have been learned from me or by me, and I know every other person who's been on with us up until now would have picked one or two things, while you were talking, especially your resilience. You were so given on being detailed in starting a business. You must get the things right. Do right by your papers and do right by relationships. Do right by being legit in whatever you do. Thank you so much for that. For Prime Woman today, we've been celebrating a CEO, a proprietress, educationist, a disciplinarian, a mother, a grandmother, and a very warm, loving lady Nigerian, if there's anything like that. Her name is Dr. Samira Jibril. Thank you for being on the show. Next week, we'll bring another very exciting personality.